It's time for Cousin Crendor!
Crendor in the morning.
In the morning! Broadcasting live! In 4-hour recording studio audience. Recording! Wake your ass up! It's up Crendor in the morning! Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Cox and Crendor in the morning.
I had a thing I was gonna do like at the intro, and then I forgot it, and now it's too late.
And this is what you did for the intro instead.
Yeah.
Just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just as letting people know that you had something awesome planned is just as good as having something awesome planned.
Yeah. It's a lot like my YouTube channel.
It would have been awesome, guys, I promise. But this is what you got, so deal with it.
When's the last? Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The last podcast we did.
Yeah.
I talked about how we've been doing this for like 3 years, right?
A long time, yes.
Turns out it's 4 years.
What?
Yeah, I got it wrong.
Well, I mean, not in a good way. Not like a good, like, we've been doing this 4 years. A kid went to high school and graduated in the time we've been doing this podcast.
Damn, dude.
I like to think we had influence over that child's life.
I do too. I like to think.
Like we raised a young boy or girl.
Into a man and a woman.
Yep. We did a good job.
Ready to conquer the world.
Yes. As a barbarian warlord, we've raised a young Genghis Khan, and I'm very proud of it.
Now they can get over the Great Wall.
Yes, with their dragons or whatever is attacking Matt Damon.
Great Wall of Life.
Have you seen that movie trailer? Because it is amazing.
I did see that movie trailer. That was one of the best, I think, trailers I've ever seen in my life.
I need to go see that movie. I want to go see how Matt Damon defeats the Mongolians. I assume they're the Mongolians in this movie.
I thought it was what's this, Osama bin Laden.
What?
Isn't it? Oh wait, that's the other Nick Cage movie.
No, what? You had me totally confused. No. Matt Damon's movie is
the Matt Damon movie. I saw that.
Where he goes.
All the demons are flying around and shit, and they're like, whoa! And it's like,
it's an interesting choice to make Mongolians into giant dragon creatures, but
yeah,
I'm not against it. I'm not against that interpretation of history.
Yeah, let's just take parts of history and just swap it out for crazy stuff.
No, the thing you're talking about is the trailer that I showed you for the movie Army of One.
Yeah.
Where Nick Cage is a crazy man who thinks God tells him to go kill Osama bin Laden. And he goes to kill Osama bin Laden with a samurai sword.
Hell yeah, dude.
And it is the funniest thing I've ever seen, and I want to see that movie. I imagine it will be terrible, and I cannot wait.
Hell yeah. It's like Nick Cage, but he's acting just weird.
He's like, oh, golly gee, watch out. They're putting laser beams in your head, and I've got to go kill Osama bin Laden. Like, that's...
Yeah, normally he's playing like normal Nick Cage, where it's like, we got to go find Osama bin Laden. But now he's like, we got to go find Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, he has a voice. Like, he's putting on a voice, which...
Yeah.
Y'all don't even know. He's putting on a voice. He looks like Santa Claus. It is my absolute favorite thing I've ever seen in the world. We need to make a point to watch this for the next podcast.
All right. I agree.
I tried to look it up. It is definitely not in theaters right now. I tried to see how much it would cost to watch it online. They want $12.99.
What?
It's not even like $2.99 to rent it. It's $12. This is a movie that is $12 to rent.
This is... Okay.
What? What?
All right, so it's got a 29 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did you take off and fly away? What was that?
Yeah, I went around looking for movie theaters that are showing it, but I couldn't find any.
None, because there are none.
Wait, it's on... You can rent it on Amazon for $6.
Oh, okay. I saw it on YouTube for $12.
Yeah, $6 on Amazon.
Done. That's how I'm going to watch it.
Yep, that's how I'm going to watch it
for
too.
$6 on Amazon, and it will be worth all $6.
Oh, it will. It will.
It will.
Oh yeah.
I feel like,
I like
we just keep
how-
saying it. It will, in fact, be worth $6.
I think my favorite part is it's like released in theaters November 4th on DVD, November 15th. It's 11 days later. Like, well, yeah, it's run its course.
I love that it was released in theaters. What theaters though?
Yeah.
Where are
Probably
these
like
the same theaters that
one-
show porn still? Is like what theater was this?
Probably like one like hip movie place in LA.
No,
like-
not here. I looked it up. Trust me. There was no place in LA that had
Shit,
it.
what if Nick Cage has his own movie theater called
was
like Cage Theaters?
Released in theaters. It was just his house. Technically, I live in a theater. Nick, you gotta go home, man. You gotta go home. He's like, no.
I also just saw, I was just saying 4 years, but it's 3 days to the day. November 19th, 2012 was our first ever podcast.
Wow, that's so long ago.
It's like a magical journey.
It was. This was a magical journey into the depths of despair and hopelessness.
Now, Nick Cage. Again,
Speaking of hopelessness and despair.
there is a movie worse than this. It has worse ratings.
What?
And Nick Cage is, I gotta link this, Men of Courage. Nick Cage is like a Navy captain or admiral.
Uh-huh.
Is a 9%.
How does any movie like this get a 9%?
Nick Cage, Tom Sizemore, and Tom Jane star in the harrowing tale of real-life American heroes shipwrecked in shark-infested waters in the waning days of World War II.
Yo, is this that story that all these dudes got eaten by sharks?
Oh shit, is it?
I think, isn't there like some infamous story about how these guys, their ship was destroyed and most of the crew escaped into the water, but because there were sharks in the water, most of them were eaten by the sharks? Isn't that like a famous story?
I don't know.
And it's like guys were like in the water and they saw their friends get pulled down and they were like, oh my God. Like, isn't that, I seem to recall this being a huge story.
All I know is Chris Bumbray says, one can't help but be mortified for Cage, a bargain basement would-be World War II epic with hilariously poor CGI and an abysmal script. This sounds
But like,
perfect.
is the CGI of sharks eating people? Or is like that the end? Like, I don't want to, look, I'd watch this movie, but I'm afraid that I'm going to watch a movie of just sharks eating men and I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with things eating people. So that's where I draw the line. Dinosaurs can eat people because they don't exist. But like sharks, they could get me. I could be in the water and they could eat me. That's
Now, here's a review for it on Amazon. This is a review right here.
okay.
Do not miss viewing this one. Very good account. This is all caps. Very good film. I personally know Sergeant Edgar Harrell, USMC Indy survivor, and he confirms that this movie is accurately tells the story of the history of the USNS Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Ooh. Don't you mean USS Indianapolis?
Yeah, but he typed USNS.
Okay, sure. I looked it up and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, so between midway between Guam and Leyte Gulf, hit by 2 torpedoes from a Japanese submarine. The survivors of the 1,196 on board, 900 made it into the water. Shark attacks began with sunrise of the first day and continued until the men were physically removed from the water almost 5 days later. Damn!
Shit, dude. I do find it funny how this movie as well came out on DVD a month ago, and it just went into theaters 5 days ago.
That
They
would
put it
be
on DVD first.
That would be exactly every Nick Cage movie ever. Yes. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's the crazy shit. All right. So it says here, of those 900 who made it into the water, only 317 made it out alive.
Oh my god.
Almost 5 days of constant shark attacks, starvation, terrible thirst, suffering from exposure and wounds. Most of those dudes died. Damn.
Shit, dude.
That's horrifying. I don't even want to imagine what that looked like.
I don't either.
Just like we're like just floating in the water, and then people just start vanishing. Like, well, this is the worst.
Do you remember that movie with Nick Cage as there's a fugitive Chinese prince and his sister enlist the aid of two war-weary crusaders to help them defeat their
Do
older
I
brother?
remember it? I watched it twice.
What? You watched it twice?
Yes.
Dude, I never saw that movie.
Didn't you watch that with me?
No.
Get out of town. You totally did.
Oh, we watched the one where he was like in the mob or some shit.
Oh, we didn't watch the one where he and
Hayden
oh god,
Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. Maybe I watched it and told you about it. Oh, we talked about it
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah. But now it says it's on Netflix.
Oh my god, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. It is a phenomenal film.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. That's a no-doubter.
That's a no-doubter. That's a no-brainer right there.
That's a no-doubter right there, I tell you what.
Yeah, it's like Gwen Stefani. It's no doubt.
Yeah, ain't no hollaback girl.
Oh yeah.
So, I talked about this on the Co-optional podcast, but I got to talk about it here.
Okay.
So, I need to tell you about Chris and Bruce again.
Who are Chris? I don't remember this story at all.
All right,
I might
so-
have been on drugs when you were talking about this
Yeah,
on the
probably.
podcast. Okay.
So, the day after we went to Disneyland,
yes.
we had to get our lift back. So we got this one guy. His name was Chris. And Chris was from, was it Connecticut? He's from Connecticut. He is a mortician scientist. And
So he was studying to be a mortician?
no, like he is a mortician or scientist, like as his job.
But what does
He's
that
like-
mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, but he's like
I'm looking
made
it up.
great money.
Mortician scientist?
Mortician scientist, yeah.
Mortician what was he exactly?
Mortuary science. The study of deceased bodies through mortuary work.
So he worked at a mortuary.
Yeah.
So he was like a funeral director. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you say no? I
But-
was like, is that what he is? And you're like, no, he's a
It's
scientist.
Well, that's what he called it. I don't know what he actually did. I was just like, ah, cool, I'm going to lift. And this guy says he did mortuary science.
Okay.
And then he's like, so I was doing that, and I had my own hockey thing going, so I love hockey. And then he's like, yeah. And then my wife died. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, so then I moved to L.A. to just get away from it all, you know? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, so now I just do hockey and drive Lyft. And we're like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, now.
Wait, how old
We're
is this guy?
Probably like mid to late 40s.
Oh, all right. So he's not like an old dude.
No, it's not like an old guy. He also kind of sounded like Canadian. He had like a Canadian like weird accent, like, hey there.
All
But it
right.
was
Well, for the rest of the
mixed in-
story, I'm going to need you to use that accent.
All right, so he's more talking like this, you know. Yeah, I got I got a friend who plays pinball machines. Yeah, his name's not important, but he has a collection of pinball machines. But the only type of pinball the machines I care about is the ones where a hot broad's playing them.
What?
That's what he said.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He said his friend collects pinball machines, but the only kind of pinball machines he likes are the one where a hot broad is playing them. Quote
A
for
hot
quote.
broad. A hot broad's playing him.
A hot broad.
Are you sure he didn't kill his wife?
At this point, I just want to get to the airport.
yeah, I like those pinballs with the hot broads.
So then he was like, what time's your flight? And we were like 10:45, and he was like, you know what? It's going to be tricky, but we're going to get you there in 20 minutes less. So we're like, okay. And he's like, you know what I hate? People that tell me that I don't know my way around this city. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I got these people coming in my car, and they're like, hey, how about you just follow the GPS? And I'm like, hey, I know where I'm going. I live here, all right? All right, buddy? And he's like, oh, my God, let me tell you about this guy named Skyler. So then he's like, God, I hate Skylers so much. You ever meet a Skyler? And I'm
you
like,
just find a guy who had a beef with a guy named Skyler?
I guess so. He's like, back in Connecticut and the East Coast, everywhere I've been, I've never met a Skyler. Then I moved to this city. There's Skylers everywhere. There's a Skyler the other day. He brought his surfboard to my car, and he's like, hey, bro, can I put my surfboard on top of your car? And I'm like, no, you can't, Skyler. And he was like, oh, man, I'll get another lift then. And I was like, God, I hate Skyler. And then he's like, I got another Skyler, and he had a pet dog he brings everywhere. And I'm like, oh, are you like in the service? Are you blind? You need your dog? He's like, no, I'm just part of this new program where I'm just lonely, so I bring my dog everywhere. And I was like, that's so stupid.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. That's how I imagine Skylers to be. Like, if someone said, imagine a person named Skyler.
Yeah.
That, I would say they have a dog, a support dog,
yeah,
a surfboard,
yeah,
and live in LA. Those would be the three things I would definitely include in the, and most likely blonde.
Yeah, definitely blonde.
Like, very attractive blonde hair. Like, too attractive, like he definitely, like, washes, rinses, repeats. He's definitely that guy. Like, he is flawlessly, like, he's a very attractive young man, but also a total douchebag. That's how I imagine Skyler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever met a fat Skyler. I don't think there's such a thing.
Not.
There's never been a fat Skyler.
Never in the history of mankind.
Never.
So he went on his Skyler rant. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then he was like, you know what else I hate? Everybody in this city is just dumb.
That's not wrong either. This guy sounds totally right. I'm with him. I'm with you, dude.
And he was just like, yeah, they call all the street signs like the 405, the 505, the 552. He's like, how about we just say 405 to 54 to whatever. Like he had a problem with them putting the in front of the highway number. He has another big beef, and so I was like, I bet Skyler did that. And he's like, yeah, I bet he did.
Fucking Skyler.
And so then he talked about his girlfriend. He's like, yeah, I met my girlfriend out here, and she's a total babe. And she makes cookies, but she's one of the LA people. So, like, she's a bit dumb. He's like, she just doesn't think sometimes, you know? Like, this dude was straight out of, like, Canadian Wayne's World.
I wish I was in the car with you. I would have loved to talk to this guy. He sounds like we could have been great friends.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I would just use him for laughter, but I would have. I would have used him for the laughs. Wherever you're at, mortuary science man, know that I love you.
So that was Chris. Great guy. Then we got out of the lift. We got to the airport. We're like, all right, don't have to talk to anyone anymore. Then we get on the plane. And on the plane, there's a guy sitting next to me who was like in his probably mid to late 50s. And a very large man. He's almost like Danny DeVito without facial hair.
Get out. Why do you have the best life? I would have loved to sit next to that guy.
Imagine Danny DeVito, no facial hair and like bald. That was this guy.
Go on.
So we're sitting there.
Wait, do you think Danny DeVito has facial hair?
I thought he did.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't. All right, imagine Danny DeVito just bald.
Just Danny DeVito just bald. But Danny DeVito is bald.
No, he's got like hair in the back of his head.
So does Danny DeVito.
No, I'm saying Danny DeVito does. This guy didn't.
Are you sure this guy wasn't just Danny DeVito? Are you sure you weren't just sitting next to Danny DeVito?
I may have been sitting next to one of his relatives.
Is there a possibility that you were just sitting next to Danny DeVito?
I'm telling you, this guy could pass as Danny DeVito's brother.
Okay.
So, sitting next to him, and the Virgin America lady comes on the speaker thing. She's like, hello, everyone, and welcome to Flight 2 blah blah from LA to Chicago. Today we will be... And he just turns to me, and he's like, what, is this bitch high?
What?
Yeah. Word for word, he said, is this bitch high? And I was like...
Wait. All she did was announce where you guys were going.
Yeah, but she was like kind of saying like, "Hello, everyone."
She was trying to be calming.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, she's probably trying to be calming, and he's like, she sounds like she's one of those like strippers, you know? And I was like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah. So, you know what I'm talking about? What do they call those girls? What do they name? Like, what's a stripper name? And I was like, Diamond Jade. And he's like, Diamond Jade! Diamond Jade! That's her name! And I was like, I just want to watch ESPN and not talk to anyone for 4 hours and then be home. And now this guy's talking to me. And so I'm like, yeah. And he's like, my name's Bruce. Good to meet you. So I'm going
Bruce
to...
DeVito.
He's like, I've lived in West LA. I've lived in all parts of LA my whole life, West California. And, you know, I'm going to Chicago because my mom lived there. She died. And, you know, I'm going to a funeral there. And then I'm also doing a business deal. So I was like,
all right, yeah.
Cool. And then he's like, I sell coffee trucks.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
so
what?
He sells coffee trucks.
Pause.
Like food trucks.
What? Okay.
But coffee.
Yeah,
So-
but I always assumed that food trucks were sort of like a chef and some friends got together and bought a truck and then made it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think that there was just a guy who goes around selling coffee. You meet the most interesting people.
So he's like, yeah, so we go to like various places in Hollywood. The actors and everyone need coffee. They set up shop and then they make money. And that's what they do. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. How'd you get into that? And he's like, long story. And I'm like, well, we got 4 hours on a plane and you're just talking to me, so I might as well listen. And he's like, so I used to deal coke.
That did not go the way I thought it was gonna go.
Nope. So I was just like, all right, this is gonna be an interesting plane ride. So he's like, yeah, I used to deal coke back when I was younger, your age. And he's like, speaking of which, I used to sell coke to a doctor that looked like you. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, he had to study late at night. He had to stay up late, so he just sold him coke. And I don't think he does it anymore, but he got it. He's a doctor now. He's like, yeah, he looks just like you. So here's what he said. He used to deal coke in West LA, and then he was one of the biggest coke dealers in the whole city.
I don't know. I imagine that's a cartel boss somewhere. I don't know that is this guy.
So he's like, this is apparently back in the late 70s, early 80s.
So, okay.
He did that. He's like, I could get any women. I could go anywhere I want. But he's like, let me tell you something. That life, it's a dangerous life. A lot of liars. A lot of people that aren't afraid to take you out for lying. And a lot of people that are trying to find themselves that haven't found themselves yet. And that's what I was. And I was like, when did you find yourself?
Why would you? I would have just turned and looked at my screen like, well, that is a good story.
Best part was I still had my earphones in. And he's like, you gonna keep those earbuds in? And I was like, I guess not anymore.
Wait, so what did he say?
So he said he found himself when he met his wife. And his wife introduced him to God and helped him get clean. And he's been clean for 27 years or something. And he's like, so, funny story about my coffee business. It used to be a front for my drug business. So
What?
he had a car detail shop. And he would sell his drugs there. And he had it, so he started getting actual people coming in. So he hired some people to actually do detailing in cars and stuff. And then, after he stopped doing drugs, he was like, you know what? I'll just turn this place into a real car detail thing. And he did that. And then after a while, he found coffee truck or just food trucks. And he's like, what if I sold coffee out of them? and then he just started a giant coffee truck business.
I just need to ask a question.
All right.
Do you think, in the back of his mind, he ever considered that you would be talking about this on a podcast?
Not at all.
Because I wonder if right now there isn't some federal authority listening that's like, oh, was that Big Bruce Burkowski, the leader of the West Coast
He
blood gang?
was a kingpin.
Yeah, there's like, we finally found him. He's in Chicago.
I mean, he's back in LA now, so you're fine.
Oh, well, all right.
So yeah, Bruce did all that, and he's like, one thing I learned from all this stuff is you don't trust a liar, and that's why I'm not voting Hillary Clinton.
Well, he should be happy then, I guess.
Yep. So he said that, and then he went on to talk about his family. So he's like, I got a son. He's your age. He loves video games. He likes that one that just came out. And I was like, Call of Duty. And he's like, yeah, he says it's not that good. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, got a daughter. She's great. She took all my looks. Can you tell? And then he elbowed me. Like one of those like old like great uncle elbows where they're like, you know what I'm saying? And just like do the elbow. Yeah, he did that like every 10 minutes. He'd be like, she took all my looks. That's why I'm fat and bald. And I was like, right. And then they brought our drinks, and he's like, hey, we'll get some shots. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then he elbowed me again.
I'd like to imagine this guy definitely still does drugs and deals drugs.
Oh yeah, I like to think that too.
Yeah, I don't like the version of his story where he. I like the idea that out of those coffee trucks, he still sells drugs.
Yeah.
And he was trying to hint at you the entire time. You know what I'm saying? As he keeps elbowing you. He's like, yeah, I found God, if you know what I'm saying.
And so then he showed us his daughter. He's like, this is my daughter. She goes to college. She was bulimic, but she fought through it. I was like, all right.
Shouldn't laugh at that.
And then he showed us his house. He has a swimming pool. It was like $1 million house in LA. Coffee truck business paying off apparently.
Of course he does. Of course he has that.
And then he knows as bad. Then he just ranted about business stuff. And then as that, he's like, do you know where this place is in Chicago? I'm like, no. And he's like, I gotta Google it then.
I like how he was gonna rely on you.
I know.
He was like, look, if you know your way around, hop in my coffee truck. You help me deal some drugs around here.
And then he's like, where's the rental car place? I'm like, I don't know. I live here, so I don't rent a car. And he's like, damn. See, that was also upsetting to him. And
did he follow you off the plane? Well, he's just like,
no,
hey, if you want to have a good time, look me up.
Well, he did follow us off the plane, and then was like, good talking to you, and then he like shook our hands and left.
Oh, well, I am mad that you didn't follow through on this story.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it is nothing but a fun adventure that you guys would have gone on.
I agree. That would have been a fun adventure.
Like a fun little Crendor's family vacation where you would have gone with this guy and you would have gotten into all sorts of fun trouble, but not like trouble, but maybe the police would get involved trouble, but they'd be like, we're just going to give you a slap on the wrist this time. Yeah, and he'd be like, see, I told you. They do coke too.
I know everybody does coke.
Everybody does coke. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one day.
All right, well, if that is enough Crendor story time, I think we should go to Chapter Copter 7 the Sky with Crendor. Crendor, how's that traffic out there?
Hey, Chapter Copter is getting a little cold because it's getting colder outside. But there's still traffic. Traffic does not stop. I tell you what, unless it was a zombie apocalypse or something, then it would probably stop. But luckily, it is not yet. So, looks like the 303 is going to be backed up to the 405, to the 505, to the 605, to the 705. The 805 looks like it'll be clear for another 2 minutes. So, if you are listening, take that detour. And then the 905, that's just always backed up. Anyway, if you also look down there, you will see a man running around on a beach with a chainsaw. And it looks like he is fighting zombies, so that is not good. The zombie apocalypse has started. I would get into your houses, board them up, and hopefully someone finds a cure. Back to you.
I just like to point out that after that, the first dude you met in the car has driven off the road. You said the 405 to the one. You said the so many times. He ran people. He ran off the road.
He definitely did.
Into a farmer's market. That is in a zombie apocalypse. That is people fleeing his wrath as he drives down the Venice boardwalk.
Running down
Oh,
Skyler.
God, it's horrifying. Yeah, he's done. He's done. He's like, mortuary science never prepared me for this. Weather. What's happening in weather?
Weather, let's kick it over to the main man, Robot Whoppy. Whoppy activated. 7, 1, 2, 4, 3. Fort Necessity, Louisiana. 64 degrees. Clear. Feels like 64 degrees. Fahrenheit. High. 48 degrees. Low. 48 degrees. UV index 0 of 10.
What happened there?
He had a hiccup. Tonight, 48 degrees. 10% humidity. Thursday, high 82 degrees. 0% chance precipitation.
Whoppy, is Fort Necessity a fort?
Whoppy is not Google.
I'm just curious.
All right, he's off. He's almost back to normal.
Oh, so close. So very close.
Now. That England trip really messed him up.
What happening with sports?
Sports. Welcome to the Sports Desk. We got some crazy stuff. So, since the last time we saw all the things.
Oh, is this? Hold on. Let me go fall asleep for an hour while you talk about the Cubs.
Cubs have won the World Series. Hell is frozen over. The end of the world is near. Zombie apocalypse is happening. We can all die happy.
I mean,
so yeah, the Cubs won the World Series.
Not Cleveland fans.
Well, they won basketball. It's fine.
They already died happy. The fans who were in the audience, zombies.
Yeah, there you go. And so yeah, that's all happening. And now it's all kicking over to hockey and basketball. We're in the hockey basketball land, and Cleveland's still doing well. They're 9-1. The random Chicago Bulls are 7-4. And
what do you mean the random Chicago Bulls?
Well, because they got rid of like half their team, and they added more people.
Found people on the street like, do you want to be on the Bulls? Can I wear Jordan's jersey?
Well, luckily one of them was Dwayne Wade, so that helped a lot for them to be good.
One of those random people. One of the random people they found on the street just happened to be Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, so Bulls are actually doing well, and then Derrick Rose and Noah went to the Knicks, and they're doing badly, which I knew would happen because they're not good, and they get injured a lot. And I was like, thank God. So now the Bulls are at least somewhat watchable. And then hockey, yeah, some crazy stuff going on. You got the New York Rangers in first place and the Montreal Canadiens. And then in the West, you got the Blackhawks and the Anaheim Ducks. All up at the top of that list. Looks like the Kings are not doing that great. They're
yeah,
okay.
but the Ducks, they fly together. Quack, quack.
Yeah, the Ducks fly together. And that's hockey and the sports.
Awesome. All right, what is our big news story of the day?
Here's some. Aspiring weatherman started forest fire to get Facebook views.
That sounds like something a weatherman would do.
Yeah,
I don't trust weathermen. I never have, and I never will.
Ninja caught on camera stealing katana sword.
Oh, he's not only is he so bad of a ninja that he doesn't even have a katana, he also got caught trying to get the katana. Oh, poor ninja.
Let's see. Then there's doctors remove wedding ring from man's penis.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it removed a wedding ring from his penis.
There's a lot of questions I have. Just a lot.
All right, let's read
How
this
big?
one.
How big is this man's fingers to begin with? Is this?
All
I know what's gonna happen, Crendor. I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be one of those stories where we read it, and by the end of it, I'm going to still have just as many questions,
Yep.
and none of them will be answered because no one writes the news anymore. No one does their job.
No one does a good job reporting the true facts that we need to know.
Yeah.
28-year-old South African man endured a rare case of penile strangulation after squeezing his wedding ring around his sex organ for erotic reasons. The unnamed man...
I'm sorry.
Right.
For erotic reasons?
Yeah, erotic reasons.
I would like to know... I'd like to know the situation where you do it for non-erotic reasons.
Yeah.
Where
Normally you
just
do
like-
it for non-erotic
where it's
reasons.
like...
This one...
I had to pee really badly. I didn't think I was gonna make it, so I tied it off with my wedding ring. Hopefully that'll work. Like, what is the non-erotic? Like, what is the non-erotic reason for that situation?
God damn it.
I mean, I'm just saying. You feel like
true.
it would all be erotic. It doesn't matter what you're doing with it. If you're sticking a wedding ring on your dick, it's automatically erotic. The
Well-
scenario of you sticking a wedding ring, the symbolism of it, automatically erotic. Automatically. There is no situation where you're just like, man, my wiener itched so badly that I scratched it with my wedding ring that got stuck. Or there's not like, I want to see how big my fingers were, so I sized it up against my dick. There's no non-erotic situation.
Well, he says he is using it as a penis ring.
Of course.
To heighten
Sure.
sexual response, but the ring caused the man's penis to swell up so much he was unable to remove it.
How
and the
big are this
patient's-
man's fingers? These are things I need to know because this is either the most impressive story ever or the least the most embarrassing for this guy. Either we're about to learn something incredibly embarrassing about this man, or his fingers are huge and it's an incredibly impressive story.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's got to be... I don't even know.
Why is no one doing the deep dive that we need for this article?
We need finger pictures.
We need pictures of this man's fingers.
When the patient's mother brought him into the hospital, his penis was erect and blue.
Wait. Pause.
Right.
The patient's mother?
Yeah.
Where's the patient's wife?
Probably like, why would you put our wedding ring?
I imagine if he did it for erotic purposes, she might be involved.
That's true.
What
would think so.
What? This story has so many layers. Oh my god.
Alrighty. So many
Why
layers,
is
so
the
many
mom
twists
there?
and turns.
Out of all the people he could have gone to, he's like, Mom, I got my wedding ring stuck on my wiener. Oh, son, not this again. Come on.
We'll get you to the hospital.
Oh, no. Or this could be an incredibly sad story in that he divorced his wife, and the only way that he can get off anymore is by using the wedding ring, and he lives with his mom. Oh, no. The story just took a really sad turn.
Well, it just says the patient was given antibiotic. Oh, wait. The doctors eventually made multiple puncture aspirations with a syringe and a pink needle to reduce swelling. Patient was given antibiotics and painkillers.
Oh my God! It takes more than a few punctures to get rid of my swelling. If you know what I'm saying, elbow jab. Bruce and I would have got along. It takes more than just punctures to get rid of my swelling, right, Bruce? Hey, let's go do some coke in the back of my car.
Classic Bruce, dude.
Classic Bruce.
That guy knows a thing or two about coke. There's no good other news stories.
I think that's the best story we can do. I don't think we need to do another story.
Yeah,
I think that nailed it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to check Yahoo News just because that's what we did 4 years ago. But Yahoo News has gotten way too serious about their news.
Oh, well, that's bullshit.
It's
What's
kinda
the silliest thing on Yahoo News right now?
It's all just dumb, serious news things. 7 things that trigger Alzheimer's disease. No, I want to hear 7 things about the McRib. What
We
happened
already
to
did that
Yahoo?
though. We've already been down that path.
I know that, but I want to see more of those from Yahoo. That's what I expect.
I just want more articles about McRibs. I feel like there are not enough news sites dedicated to the McRib, which is back now, by the way. I was driving past McDonald's and saw the McRib in the window and was like, it has begun. So that means there's only one thing you need to do. Everyone needs to go out and get a McCox and Crendor.
Yeah, you gotta go get a McCox and Crendor. You get,
go.
what was it again? The McRib and then the jalapeno McChicken?
Yeah, no, jalapeno cheeseburger inside the
Oh, yeah.
McRib. Or
Jalapeno
the McRib was
cheeseburger.
inside the... You can decide if it's a Cox and Crendor or a Crendor and Cox.
Yeah, it's just depending
You
on
can decide which one of us is the McRib and which one of us is the jalapeno burger. I'll let you decide.
Yeah, Yahoo News sucks now. That's all I got.
All right, well, there you go. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with another episode soon. And as always, to be continued.